Why can't we just give people money? I know it would collapse our current system, but the current system is destroying the planet and starving people. Is the whole work or starve thing based in puritanical religion that's now been cooped by a big corporate? Money is a good system when it comes to spending on hobbies, luxury goods and nice things that take a lot of work for other people to make for you. Money is not a good system when it's charging people for food, shelter and medicine. Basic needs should be met before profits are made. So many billionaires created from suffering by profit gouging on basic needs. We do give people money. Poor people get a couple of bucks to stay on the brink of starvation and rich people get millions of dollars they don't need to locate jobs here instead of there. If I knew that going to work would help everyone in the country have food, water, and a roof over their head, I'd actually want to work. Heck, I'd probably want to work more hours. If we all had everything we needed, not everything we wanted, it would be a much better place to live. People would actually feel connected to one another, we'd all be helping each other. Honestly, that would be amazing. The question should be, why can't we just give everyone access to resources needed for a healthy, fulfilling life? And the answer is because the people who control those resources are hoarders. Because then the greedy rich people wouldn't have it. For some reason, they see socialism as a bad thing. We do. They're called billionaires. Money is just a construct we invented to make exchange of goods easier. Why can't we just give people money, is old thinking. Why do we still need money, and how could we do away with it is new thinking. Money is there because having a common medium of exchange is easier than asking, how many chickens do I get as change when exchanging this cow for that pig? Most people don't actually realize the enormous difference between even 1 million and 1 billion. Billionaires by definition have exploited other people to become billionaires. And millionaires aspire to be billionaires. We live in a world where exploiting people for money is the norm. When humans evolve to not have envy and greed, then perhaps we will see people's basic needs being met. Who's we? Because we're too busy giving the money to the rich. Still waiting for it to trickle down. Because it would just make money worthless, thereby negating any assistance giving money was meant to achieve. Because our betters, the shareholders, have an insatiable appetite for more and more wealth, and the politicians they purchased are okay with that arrangement. Unless this system is broken, nothing will ever change. I see thoughts like this a lot here. Usually followed by complaints about the current system, but very short on actual workable solutions. In medical examples, who pays the doctor, nurse, other staff? The build and maintenance of the hospitals and renovations when needed? The US government is completely broke. We could eliminate all military spending and still be underwater. Drastic increases in taxes could cover the remaining spending, but that wouldn't address guarantees on shelter, medical care, or the college asks. So I ask. We can and should you first. As much as I would love to help people in need, I'm struggling to get by myself. I do what I can if the opportunity presents itself, like doing volunteer work or sparing change for those who ask, but there's a strict limit to what the average Joe can do without also being pulled under themselves. It wouldn't be so bad if all the wealth wasn't hoarded by the top one. For some reason, they aren't in a giving mood, unless they stand to gain from it. Because if you just give everyone money, then money would lose its value. Let's say you give everyone $100,000 a year for free. Congrats, cost of living is now $300,000, a gallon of milk is $30. You see where I'm going with this? If billionaires paid their fair share of taxes, there would be enough dollar for everyone. I guess no one is being stopped from giving money to whoever they want. You're not wrong about the work or starve thing being co-opted by corporations, but for there to be things for you to buy with the money that is given to you, people have to work to produce it. Until we get to post-scarcity and have machines to do all that, someone has to. There should be some level of social safety net though. We're far enough advanced as a species to pull that off if we can get past the greed. Yes, Lamau. Yes, exactly. Big corporations live, laugh, love to exploit the working class. They will not stop unless they're made to stop, and governments are in their pockets, so nothing is gonna make them stop. Possibly because the world would end up with huge shortages of things and quality of life would plummet. When you can't buy anything you want, you are forced to prioritize some things over others. This creates a system where we can predict consumption and be one step ahead of it. It's simple economics and it's independent of capitalism, communism, socialism. Even in the most egalitarian society you can't just give a people anything they want. Because then corrupt parasites couldn't feel quite as superior to us normies, and they deserve to always feel better than the rabble. If you have to die to make sure they aren't offended, then so be it. Whose money? Why are you entitled to money if you don't earn it? Why can't we just give people money? Go right ahead, what's stopping you? I think you'd be just a good chance because it would be easier and cheaper than the current means-tested bureaucratic shit show we have today. The economic equivalent of putting a little Hello Kitty band-aid on a gushing bullet wound. We need to abolish capitalism and money with it. You can't cure a disease, capitalism, by simply treating its symptoms, poverty. So much things like land and water should be free. People really don't get the option to even farm their own food when there is so much land used to generate profit for the wealthy. When you just print money, there's no longer an intrinsic value. Also, creates inflation, which is our current situation. Because your last name isn't Zelensky. Some civilized countries have experimented with a basic living allowance. I'm not sure how it's gone for them, because I never had time to follow up on initial articles. But Google should bring stuff up about it. You can see what they're reporting for results. Some civilized places have also experimented with giving empty homes to unhoused people. Again, Google to see how it's been going. I think that's been plagued with long-term legal issues in the places I was familiar with the program. Remember when we gave everyone $1,300 a few years ago? Now we are suffering the consequences of that. Because then nobody works. Nobody works, and we have no resources. No food, power, running water, etc. Then there is no life. We need a Tyler Durden. Wanna give me money? You people in America are really dim. I just give your mom money. Philosophy Tube on YouTube did a 5-part series about liberalism and how capitalism unfolded from that. Strongly recommend it for understanding how we got where we are. You can give money away every day if you want to. Because you don't give valuables away, hence the value. It's largely that the rich wouldn't give that money. There's lots of ways the economy can hypothetically work, but we need to avoid printing money without also increasing the amount of goods or services in the system. So to avoid devaluing the currency, the only way to do it would be to redistribute the wealth and assets currently in the system, which would require the people who own those assets to relinquish them. That's hypothetically possible, but those same people control most of the system, and so it's in their interest not to allow that to happen. It's not destroying the planet. You know many people who are starving? Capitalism stems from patriarchy, and patriarchy stems from insecurity. The more capitalistic a society, the more insecure its members become, and the greater the divide between the sexes grows. It's a very vicious cycle. We could, except the people who make way more money than they need don't want to, and have convinced enough of the rest that it wouldn't work and to be afraid of it. Every single dollar you give poor people is an indirect subsidy to the economy. Only poor-hating people are vile enough to deny this and let the poor suffer for their advantage. We actually can. UB experiments have shown that it is indeed viable. Also, we already are basically giving free money to people. It just happens to be ultra-rich people who get the free money, and poor people who have to give it away. There's no reason why it can't work the other way around.